I'm not sure which outcome is actually better for CLG because they own a 4-0 record against TSM this split. We'll have to wait and see.
They are writing their own history right now. It's really
First playoff game. No, not playoff game. First regular season tiebreaker in LCS history.
That is true. It'll be great. I'm actually, even though you said the 4-0, go. Because it's going to be a did you know.
Sorry.
I want to know.
I wonder if this counts towards the end season stats.
Ooh.
Or if it's off the books.
I mean, it'd have to, right? Does it get its own individual before anything happens?
I don't think it would.
Oh, that's true. You're right. Nobody else.
No one else would have that extra buffer. I'm just thinking because of Cutie Pie's, Kiwi Kids' death record.
Oh, is that going to add on? Is anybody close to
piling on? Nobody is
close.
It
was like Reginald was right there.
Claky D used to hold the record.
Right.
And I'm sure he's really happy that I just brought that up. For those of you who don't know, Claky D is Spectator 2. He's the one who will do the replays and call out things to
that look
super
Spectator
cool
1 within the Super Week. Definitely doing a lot more. That's his deal.
Yeah. But he used to hold the record for most deaths.
Used to could.
Yeah.
Now
he's number 2 all time.
Well, Kiwi Kid's looking. He's not going to catch up, but Kiwi Kid's not looking to make that any worse. Giving himself again the South Division passive, possibly going in on that Zach. We see the bans to come out here as these teams trying to do the last bit and put forth that bit of effort to change what's going to happen for the outcome.
Can you imagine if every time his passive detonated, it counted as an extra death for Zach? How terrible that would be for the death streak, unfortunately. But I actually do like the pick. I do like the pick because CLG had been relying heavily on Zach this week, and taking it away with the first pick is smart. But then on the flip side of that, I remember Nien actually tweeted after their last loss that he should have played Elise top when Dignitas had Zach, because Elise can cut through Zach's defenses fairly well.
Right.
And only because Dignitas put such an AD-heavy composition in, they ended up last picking the Malphite and then essentially swapping the Elise into the jungle, which was not their original plan. So I would not be surprised if this is actually an Elise in the top lane.
It would be Spider-Man. I'm sure everybody can remember back to MLG.
I can.
CLG pretty much having a base because of Nien on that. Getting a triple kill with Elise on the Nexus towers going down for the minions to valiantly take the win. Skara quickly blocking in the Zed. We've seen him getting a last pick middle throughout the week.
I like the Zed pick as well. I would be thrilled if there was a Pantheon right back at him.
Yeah. They're
That'll
showing
be like the ultimate style points.
Saying, you did this. I may show you how to do this. That's what they're hoping. They do pick the Sona out to really, which is interesting because of the advance that Chaucer has made on Thresh, that it's still completely open.
It actually tells me if they go Sona, it opens up their potential to run less crowd control heavy in other lanes if they still want to have that teamfight presence, obviously, because sure, the box is great, but nothing locks down from a support perspective like a late game crescendo. And they should go with Ahri. Again.
Sitting on that Vladimir pick, I figure is Big Fat going to be the one taking Elise into the jungle, which we haven't seen too much. We did see Sejuani the other day coming from CLG, which really hasn't been the best jungler for Big Fat. Even since week 1 when he tried it. He's kind of walking into lane, telegraphing a lot of what would happen with the ganks. And really, you can't just wait for the ultimate to do things. You can with some champions, but you have to be going the whole time with Sejuani.
It generally fits the CLG style for him, where, I mean, yeah, Sejuani can actually gank effectively and is generally slow in the jungle.
Yeah.
And they're going with it again. It's telling me, obviously, kind of confirming that Elise is going in the top lane for them with Nien. And I think it can actually work out for Big Fat LP. It really depends on the jungler that Crumbs picks right now to go against him, whether it's a heavy farmer, and it absolutely is. Yeah.
The fist pump. Thank you, Patoy. Bringing it out once again, really giving Alistair a lot of life in the spring split was this guy right here, Dignitas' Patoy. It's up to Chauster to get a pick in for Link.
It's going to be Ahri or Orianna.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
You think so?
Nope.
Well, the Orianna, again, with
way off
a composition of Dignitas, as I've been saying, the dipped up duck dive. They got it again. Crumbs, Kiwi Kid, Skara, both able to just hop out of that command shockwave. So it'd be scary. The Ahri, I think, would be a better choice, being able to follow the repel, being able to follow a Sejuani, and really get out if anything went wrong.
Yeah. The only thing, because they're stacking AoE so heavily, oh man, that's not what I expected.
Well, you said there might be less crowd control.
Yeah, I did. Well, of course, Riv. That's what I expected from the very start. But I've actually seen when CLG plays Vladimir, it's generally been Yen playing Vladimir in a split push fashion. And that is not what we have right here. That matches up pretty well against the Zed. And overall, this is once again like a strong late game scaling composition for CLG. Whereas Dignitas with Crumbs as Eve is going to try to roam around the map and really just stomp Big Fat OP out before he can get going. I like the Ignite on Eve as well. His positioning has to be incredible, by the way, if you're going to run Ignite on Eve. But Meteos pulled it off, and I guess Crumbs is trying to do the same.
Meteos definitely had, it's like you're watching an infomercial, and it's like, these results may not be expected. And that was one of those games. He went
as
off
seen on TV.
As seen on TV. This may not happen. You may not be able to dive 3 turrets deep, get kills, use your Ignite, get a double kill. So we'll have to see if Crumbs can do that. Eve has that potential, though. Once you get the first kill, the effect of the snowball rolling down the hill is immense.
What's Kiwi Kid doing there? He's leaning over kind of sideways.
He has entered his own world for this game. He is ready. You can see a lot of counter logic gaming. That's something that these guys are kind of used to, aren't as much. The long tournaments that used to happen once every few months caused them to wake up early in the morning, which we saw isn't a benefit for video gamers. And then into the later part of the day, it is strenuous because you're back and forth. You're having to stay and watch some matches. And this isn't something they've been used to throughout the spring split, or summer split.
Even though it's only like, oh, you only had to play 3 games in one day, they have been here the entire day, and they weren't necessarily expecting to have to play yet another game. Exactly. Your mind is working the whole time. They have to constantly watch and think about all the games and track who's coming up next, etc. And they're just, well, at least Kiwi Kid, he's got the lean on right now, which tends to happen when you're a little bit tired. We'll have to see how that affects his performance this game.
All right. Everyone in the studio, everyone at home, everyone that's been watching around the world, a huge ups, and thank you for tuning in all day. An extremely long day of League of Legends, but we couldn't have asked for any more. You better stay up and watch EU as it comes up tomorrow as well, because Super Week...
Just go for the whole loop.
It doesn't stop.
Yeah, there's like a Southeast Asia finals coming up, and that'll just go right in to 6 more European games. They're probably going to have a 7-way tie for 5th, and then just keep on going.
The League of Legends month. We got Gamescom and PAX. It's going to be good.
Yeah,
it's going to be good. 1 minute into this game, both teams are doing something we have not seen in a long time, and that's just standing around. Where are the blue wards? Where are the red wards?
Yeah, if they plan this delayed invade, they're going right through a very well-placed ward. I'm thinking CLG doesn't want to do anything here early game.
Well,
this is the slow play.
If it's CLG, and the CLG we're thinking about, they're trying to get double lift fed, right? So if they stay top lane, that late invade from Big Fat LP, and possibly the 2v1 coming into Kiwi Kid, as they did try to do on the coast when Zion Spartan played that Shen game, we'll have to see if they can get double lift that first kill.
Ooh, there's a pink ward on Yen as well, which could potentially be to stop the early game Eve ganks, because it's against Ignite. That's one thing you have to kind of consider.
Put in your consideration
when you're playing against Eve. I mean, just look at how many Chouster is sitting on 3 pink wards right now, which actually would explain some of the inactivity that CLG had early game, because they're really saving those pink wards for the Eve and not necessarily trying to make a bunch of early game plays with those 7 ward openings or something. They're just going to pink ward instead of regular ward at the start of the game and try to get safety with that.
Wards on either side of mid, keeping safe from that jungle entry, but here we see again the trade in buffs. Looks like Big Fat will be down. So Nien is privy to the fact that he may find 3 people in his lane coming up here. But seeing Sona may relieve a little bit of that pressure. What is going to be Big Fat's move after this?
Right now, if I was Big Fat, even though it's counterintuitive, I would try to be power farming right now. But look at the long way around Crumbs took. That is brilliant. He voided the tri-brush ward that he expected to be pinked. And Nien may just get dove here. He's not even level 2. Just got it. He's going to be able to skill up his cocoon. Actually, he did a skill thing that I'll talk about after, but this is going to be a very interesting dive.
Big Fat just back. He will not go for the same attempt in that top lane. They are waiting patiently for this one. There it is. The headbutt to the walls. A little bit longer of a stun. It was completely out of Nien's thought that was going to happen.
Not going to make it into the air with that repel. Nien actually hadn't skilled anything until he hit level 2. Then he did Q and D.
Yep.
Didn't matter. Pulverize.
Such a great gank and so patiently waited. Having that Eve, it's something we saw, like I said, Meteos did it. That first kill opens the door so quickly. And for that to go onto the AD, it's going to be big.
Now Crumbs needs to farm as quickly as possible. The thing that allows Eve to really take over games is how quickly she can farm the jungle with Hate Spike early on to hit level 6 and pull off more successful ganks like the ones we just saw.
Looks like he's going to stay in the bottom jungle for this half, so he ends towards the top side where he is going to start putting a little bit more help, try to get Skara going as well. Vladimir, not one of the guys you're really going to get a kill out of that gank, so we'll have to see if he goes into that top lane to start 2v2ing.
Especially mid lane Vladimir, because the amount of distance he can cover while in Pool of Blood really becomes enough to always make it into the turret.
Oh, wow. They really want to shut down the Spider-Man.
Yep. I don't think they're going to be able to do it this time.
No, Crumbs is going long way around. And before going in, he's going to say, can I find anything here? Get my team to pull in. Once they see Big Fat, he's not going to do that again.
Yeah, Big Fat's going back to his roots here and just babysitting lane. That's what he actually has done when CLG has found most success with him. Ooh, that's a lot of damage for Kiwi to take. But yeah, Big Fat LP really just babysitting in for a little while here. And this should give Crumbs an opportunity to farm as quickly as possible. He really needs to take that time and decrease threat by Big Fat LP to make it play.
Scar going in quite hard there. Looks like he has thrown down the red elixir, but they'll come out just about even, which means Link's going to be healthy soon.
Yeah, and Link actually is getting away with a boots start and still beating Scar up 40-28. So that is a nice strategy pulled out by him.
Really playing it smart. You don't just sit back in Vladimir, wait till you're 8 and 9, and then you can start going wreak havoc on people and be annoying. 6 minutes into this, Crumbs making himself present in middle to soak up some experience that he's spent roaming around, but it got him the assist, so he's not too far behind, if at all. And we're going to see Big Fat still yet to go back and finish up that machete. He's trying to piece together things and get himself in this game.
Yeah, he's got a couple happy feet there. He wanted to go back down towards bottom, but then they actually pinged Crumbs and how he flew left there. And they're like, yeah, Big Fat, you don't need to babysit anymore. There's no way Crumbs is coming in the immediate future. Get back to your jungle because Crumbs is countering you, which is what happened at the race.
And at least for the first time for me since that 3.10 and the visual upgrade on some of the items, we see the Hextech Revolver coming out. A sweet new image for that. It's going to give a little bit of a spell vamp to Link, and it looks like he may go full Woda.
Yeah, he's going to go for the spirit of the Wraith. That's what all the Vladimirs have been doing nowadays. It's a split push-ish build. And out of a mid laner, that's something we're going to have to watch and see how it develops. Because, I mean, you look at COG's team, and if Link is generally a split pusher, who does Dignitas put against him? It pretty much has to be Skara. And if Link gets enough spell vamp and then Zhonya's, so if he gets the spirit item and then the Zhonya's Hourglass, he would potentially become a giant threat and pain in Dignitas' side.
Let's see if he gets the Spectral Wraith to come out. We did see it, or used to see it, when we see the Elise carries coming out in the jungle. Not as much anymore. More power for that build and penetration. 1 kill here for Dig still. Only 300 gold in the lead. 7.5 minutes.
Looks like they really want to pick on Nien. That's 5 Dignitas members, all kind of around there. Dragon's the easier thing to take. Definitely the more valuable thing to take. But at this point, so obviously sending Kiwi Kid down to this lane is granting just a turret trade for CLG. Because Double Edge and Chouster easily take that with no contention.
Nien has gone down once, but in the entire big scheme of things, he's only down 3 CS. That dragon hurts overall, because obviously it goes to everybody on the map, so his help and experience is kind of being shared with Big Fat as he comes down. And how does that affect an Elise? We talk about some of the top lane champions still being able to do well, a little bit behind if they are. How does Elise fare in that realm?
I think Elise can absolutely recover because she has such high base damages.
Okay.
Crumbs may be getting a little dangerous there. Oh, the cocoon misses.
The headbutt freeze as well. That was the ultimate that Patoy just ate for Crumbs there. There is the emo play going down. It's going to add a little bit to the damage and definitely be enough. Nien gets a little revenge there.
Dignitas puts so much importance on that blue buff steal, which is very curious, because who are they stealing it from? Big Fat LP never needs it necessarily with the way he jungles. And Link doesn't have mana.
No.
Just got blood.
Just got
Crumbs
blood.
has
Your
his
blood.
own. Here's the strangest part. Crumbs has his own blue buff. Skara and Kiwi Kid are either resourceless or energy based. Even if they got the two, it's literally just for the experience and gold gain, and that is not necessarily worth the risk. And you can see why, because Crumbs died.
The fact of denying something kind of overtakes the relevance
really good.
of denying something.
Yeah, we got to get that blue buff, guys.
It'll mean something. Cutie Pie, more than not, one of the Ezreal players that you'll see use True Shot Barrage all the time.
All the time, on cooldown. Especially with the Brutalizer. More cooldown reduction. Spams his Q to get that cooldown back up, and it's just farm and map pressure overall. It's really nice to have that thing for dueling, but Cutie Pie generally doesn't care, and it doesn't hurt him that frequently.
And I actually haven't looked closely enough at what skin he's been using previously, but he's definitely using what people consider the double lift Ezreal skin, the Explorer.
Explorer Ezreal?
Yeah. It's the one that double lift always uses. So I don't know if that's a little cheeky between each other.
I mean, double lift does do a lot of exploring, generally. So it makes sense that double lift would choose that skin.
Absolutely. 10 minutes in here, a lot of ones on the top side of that stats board. One in turrets, one in kills, and 1K gold lead coming up for Dignitas. We'll have to see. Oh, wow. 2 Spectral Wraiths coming out. As I said, it used to be built on Elise. They're going to do it again.
They're going full split push this game. And this is actually pretty key, because I remember...
CLG?
I think they like to split push.
We'll see.
They also like to team fight. And the double Spectral Wraith isn't that great in team fights. In fact, their team fights are going to be brought together by Big Fat LP and Chouster. But between those ultimate cooldowns, they need to be able to split push to keep up with the pacing of Dignitas.
We saw Cutie Pie do it on double lift, on Vayne. So they do have that late game
look at
carry
that farm total, too.
of that. 107.
Yeah, versus 84. When Double Lift gets that Blade of the Ruin King, he's going to just run it Diamond Cutie Pie, maybe even before then, and just go for a kill. Boy, this is going to be a jungler collision if we're not careful here. Eve and Big Fat LP are in the area.
These guys are reading each other's minds evenly. There it is. The mind bullets go in, and Double Lift's condensed Crumb against the wall. It's like he knew he was there. Oh, Nien! Run, Nien! Run, Nien! Go! Kiwi Kid tries to get back onto this one. Nien, I don't believe he has Repel still, but he's not in the right form anyways.
How did that happen again? Kiwi Kid has a 2-level advantage on Yen. The main reason that last game turned in the Malphite vs. Zac matchup was Kiwi Kid got a 3-level advantage on Yen. Once again, it was because of the stronger turret denial and killing of Yen when he was in his 1v2 or 3v1 lane. And again, once that part of the laning phase breaks, Yen is going to fall far behind in this game if trends continue.
That's still huge. Kiwi Kid has figured out that portion of the game to know if I can't take the first wave and a half, I can take Wolves, still stay in this, and the team knows they actually have to do something to counteract that lane as well. Minute and 30 left for this dragon to come up, and it looks like we have CLG putting a bit of vision and power around that dragon area to make it safer. And 1, 2, 3, 4 wards. They're even starting to red as much as they can, or pink ward as much as they can. So this Eve threat is really starting to sting.
And the pink wards have generally been paying off for them so far, but you have to keep in mind the added cost of all those pink wards. Since overall in gold, CLG is down by 1,000, but it's more because they've been adding the extra gold in the pink wards.
13 minutes onto this one. No fight still here in mid. Neither of them are really going to be able to kill each other. They have the escapes to get away. They have the engages to laugh at each other and really not do enough damage. See Big Fat towards the top side. He's going to have to make some moves down, but they have focus on Nien right now. So this kill, the waltz down possibly for the Dragon. We'll see what the team has to do.
Nien's in a lot of trouble right now. He needs to find a way to get back into this game and fast. He's getting heavily down at farm and camped. But the rest of the team isn't necessarily bailing him out very much. Doublelift really needs to make a play quickly for CLG to turn this one around. And he actually has an opportunity for this. It's going to have to be one hell of a play because he's greatly outnumbered.
Oh, again, once towards the wall. He gets the tumble, but it was already the pulverize. There's the death mark to go down. They got a heal on it, but it's going to be enough. With the heal, the True Shot Barrage did not kill him. Very good play there. I don't know how he got out.
Yeah, he didn't even use his ultimate either. Sure, he used both of his summoner spells, but Blade of the Ruined King,
that barrier
flash,
blocked a good amount of that death mark.
Yeah, good enough to get away.
I'd say yes.
Yeah. But is it good enough to stop Dignitas from Dragon?
Well, they did. Now focusing on the Cutie Pie. So at least they got the blue buff there. They figured out where to put it. They now get Dragon very safe on that grab, and they are going to get themselves a 2,000 gold lead.
Things are trending well for Dignitas right here. And unlike the typical Dignitas composition, they actually have a pretty strong way of ending this game. Knowing that Kiwi Kid is getting so far ahead right now, he can be the guy who dives in and soaks a bunch of damage, and Crumbs with Eve can initiate very strongly in these fights. It's really a full dive team with the Ezreal, which is the perfect AD carry to have in a team like that, since better than anyone else, Ezreal can be elusive and fend for himself.
See what CLG does about this. They themselves are picking up more pink wards as well. Dignitas is picking up pink wards. Crumbs himself is grabbing them to say, I need to get places, so I need pink wards. Kiwi Kid's helping him out with that aspect as well with a few in his, since he's so far ahead. Already got the Sunfire Cape, building into the Negatron, which will become a Spirit Vision, so he's about to become that top carry that they're looking for.
He absolutely is.
Or top initiator to help carry.
Top carry.
Yeah.
It's 101.
Could work.
He's got this game going on right now. This is a good Kiwi Kid game, you know? He had the lean on, but he's definitely putting together a performance in this game.
The comfort of having that roll of tissues next to him. He's good to go.
Something special. You got to make your environment feel
as comfortable. Get the sweat off your forehead. Get the sweat off your palms. Prep for the game. They have prepared themselves here for this engagement, and Crumbs says no.
Crumbs doesn't want that.
He says, hang on, and completely get these golems and make it look like they have you guys on the tightrope.
That's a really dangerous 3v3 for them to be taking on as well. Just crescendo to the Sejuani lockup from her ultimate.
Whoa.
Would give Doublelift enough time to take that out. Whoa.
Yeah. He went for blue. Let's take down mid turret right now. Everybody coming up from the bottom lane here on CLG for a fast call. The siege minion wave possibly making this call, but they see that the map has moved as well. That's Dignitas coming to defend.
That was Dignitas just rotating well to counter what CLG had to do. We actually talked about, when we were talking to Crumbs, he talked about how CLG doesn't actually have very good rotations, and that's why Dignitas picked Zen and Pantheon, because they wanted to catch CLG in between those rotations. And you can actually see CLG hasn't caught Dignitas by surprise whatsoever with any of their movement this game.
Dignitas did that move back to mid with 0 wards on that dragon, so they're kind of just reading what CLG is doing, feeling them out before they try to get an engage. You see Big Fat coming around just to soak up experience in middle. Kiwi Kid in that top lane, 12 to 10 right now. Just a health bar. Looks like they can fight each other.
It looks like Kiwi Kid would win that fight.
Yeah.
Right now.
A lot of little lions.
Nien, well, yeah, he's a full 1,300 gold behind, and they're both sitting on about 1,100 gold to shop, so it's just not a situation where he wants to fight. But this is what we call a good rotation, because those guys came at almost exactly the right moment to stop that Crumbs gank. It's making Crumbs go for a little jog to get away.
And if you are or are not an Eve player, you have to be watching what Crumbs is doing right now. He's been able to avoid multiple pink wards on the map, And also set up multiple phase checks in the bush and played that so slyly that it wasn't even warned that he was there. He knows when it's going back again. He knows when it's a bad situation.
He's going to get the dive anyway. Ow, crumbs. Nian will have no idea.
There's one. Nian goes for the instant repel, which means the damage is about to stick. He goes for the flash, puts himself right next to the turret, goes down as Kiwi Kid grabs aggro perfectly.
Nian likes to build glass cannon Elise, but this is a game where he has to build some defensive itemization. Otherwise, dives like that are just going to continue to wreck him.
Somebody has to start picking up, not the slack, but the fact that they need someone ahead. They need a carry. That's double lift 100% of the time for them. If Link isn't already doing it, they try to get double lift going. And he only has an assist. That blade is finished. But like you said, once he got that blade, he was going to want to go at Cutie Pie. And they've not really allowed it to happen.
No, Patoy's been babysitting very closely for Cutie Pie as Cutie Pie farms up his... Probably going his standard item, no more Trinity Force this time. Serious mode is on for Cutie Pie right now.
What Trinity Force Yomu's builds.
Yeah.
Shake head.
He won.
He did
100% win rate.
You can't say anything about it. Yeah, 100% win rate with that build. That's nice. 20 minutes here coming onto the clock. Either team could surrender here.
Oh,
they're not gonna. There's the ultimate. This is what I wanted to see. The ult from Sejuani into the Hemo Plague, but nobody else is there to finish up that damage amplifier of Hemo Plague, and they walk out, but they know they can hit it.
Yeah, gotta hand it to Patoy. Just stopping that gank right in its tracks after multiple ultimates were used, and that's a huge amount of CLG's punch out of the way for really a flash of Cutie Pie and some savvy skill usage from Patoy. So this just gives Dignitas even more freedom to do whatever they want.
And Patoy, he really keeps it savvy. It's been that way since the spring split. I remember his name would always come up for, was it least deaths? Because, and it was Alistar that he really racked that up
his
on.
His KDA was absurd near the start of last
safety,
split.
Because of the way he plays it and positions for his team.
Yeah, his Alistar is definitely something to be feared, but Dignitas generally thinks it's a very risky support pick because if Patoy makes a single wrong decision, there's just no turning back.
It's not a forgiving ultimate. The team will just watch you use it and then engage.
Oh, another dive in middle.
Whoa, going on to 2. Kiwi Kid, he was pretty much the only one in that. He did have a little bit of help from Skara, but Skara backed off quite early. So seeing that much damage be put out definitely is going to strike fear in the eyes of CLG, but Big Fat wants to go in. They separate the team perfectly. They're not able to focus anything. He almost gets a double true shot, but it's a quick punch. 1-2 from Kiwi Kid to finish off Link.
And Dignitas jumped in because they knew Double Lift was off pushing another lane. They're going to try and take as much as possible with this push. They're not actually sending anyone back for Double Lift. Double Lift's got to make a choice.
There.
Oh, what?
Nian may die in the air, and he does go. He's going to fall down onto his back. Looks like they get the second tier turret here, and they have called Double Lift back to the base with only Chowster up to help.
Yeah, that was making the decision easy for Double Lift to go back, how quickly Nian would go down. Now the death timers are up, so it looks like Dignitas gets 2 turrets off of that push. And despite the 1-5 score, Nian is continuing along his path of full damage at least. Let's take another look at this one. This was just good coordination. Remember, Big Fat LP didn't have his ultimate there. So it allowed Kiwi Kid Zach to just fly in and do as much damage as possible. There was no fighting back from CLG, which is why Dignitas looked so good going in, because they were playing against people who couldn't fight back with basically their arms were tied behind their backs.
Looks like they want to try to answer here. Just a few seconds later, they find a turret of their own, but they are still down. Actually, that's going to hit 29,000. So they're down 5,000 gold right now as they accrue that next 100. It'll keep them even. 4-3 in turrets, 7-2 in kills. Not too much going in the favor of CLG, but still, that full fight composition isn't coming for them yet. And I don't think we're going to find it because they're going to keep Double Lift split pushing.
And you can see they're putting a lot of eggs in this basket. He's again going for the Zephyr build on Vayne. 229 minion kills. And right now, running for his life because he recognized Skara and Patoy were coming for him. Patoy with oracles as well, trying to get as much vision control as absolutely possible. Doublelift should be able to complete this Zephyr now. We'll see if that can be something for him, because it's so strange. Everyone on CLG is going for very self-sustaining, almost split push builds, not necessarily that great in team fights. Yet they're so far behind, they're unable to force these decisions, since anytime they go to split push, Dignitas is just diving straight in. I like the way Dignitas is forcing CLG's decisions away from what CLG wants to do, and that's one of the big reasons they're up 6k gold.
And CLG has to see that. It's almost one of the oldest trick in the books, where one person's across the map, you're going to want to initiate the fight. Once again, they find Doublelift out. He's not able to get to the items he really needs to just yet.
He tried to be cute with that, you know, knocking away Patoy, then trying to fly onto I'm a Cutie Pie, but Dignitas was ready for that one. They've seen that show before, and they just shut Doublelift down. We've seen this show before.
Oh my gosh, Nien going down in the top lane. Cutie Pie still relentless with Scar in this bottom lane. They are drawing some power here. Patoy still on that left side. Looks like they will back. I thought they were going to go for something cheeky there.
They could have. It was kind of a 3v3. It would have been extremely dangerous. But Dignitas is kind of playing with house money right now. 6,000 gold lead. And everything they've done thus far has worked, aside from that one astray blue buff steal that Crumbs tried to do. Since then, it's been smart play throughout.
It's almost an average of every member on Dignitas being 2,000 gold personally ahead in that gold game. Kiwi Kid getting a bit of help. Flashing into that crescendo. I like the move from Chowster. Did he position himself well enough for this fight? That was a huge flash crescendo by Chowster. If they can turn this one around. Skara able to take down that kill onto him. Big Fat is left alone. The Bloblets right around the corner.
Nobody was able to touch the Bloblets after Kiwi Kid went down, because Skara and Crumbs were such heavy damage threats immediately that Doublelift had to fight them right after proccing the passive. It was very good rotation by Dignitas to get up there and save Kiwi Kid from the imminent threat of Doublelift. Whoa! What the?
He didn't get it. He didn't get it. That was a nice take by Link. Cutie Pie trying to be a nuisance around the map, but that means that if Cutie Pie, obviously Doublelift's by himself, but Cutie Pie is feeling a little like he can be reckless now. It's not usually things you would see.
He can explore on his own right now. To touch back on an earlier conversation, good choice in skin, I'm a Cutie Pie. And he's very close to getting the Muramana transform as well, since he bought that tier of the Goddess so early on in the game. He's actually sitting on 688 of the 750, and even without the blue buff, I'm a Cutie Pie is sitting with 39% cooldown reduction, so his build is about to become very blue well before CLG is ready for that, and it looks like Dignitas is going to take some more control here.
It seems like Eve is really just a thorn in the side of a lot of these teams. Always having to get pink wards in lane, always bringing something out.
He's had a really good week.
It's super good week. There's the ultimate. Oh, it just missed Link. He's only got a few more seconds. Boom.
Oh, no.
Headbutts him down. He was in the store. There was a sale on something he just could not get away from. Valiant attempt here trying to get a kill for himself. Zanya's in the end. The minions are going to help him, but I don't think it's going. He actually probably, if he didn't have a few more there, that would have been a little bit longer and a little bit scarier. But two go down. Dignitas is just everywhere.
Yeah, two main damage dealers as well went down for CLG, and even if they did a bit of damage as they went down, it doesn't stop the potency of this next Dignitas push.
And to go.
Here we go.
Oh, there's a little bit of potency from Kiwi Kid. It forces a flash out. And to talk a little bit about, you know, that Eve and how well it's doing. Him alone, 2,200 gold up on Big Fat.
Yeah, that's a lot of monies. 8,200 right now for Crumbs, and he hasn't even necessarily been the best performer on Dignitas so far in the game. CLG just now coming up from spawn, and Dignitas has kind of taken their time with this one, it almost seems. If anyone has a lean on right now, it's Nien. Every time he's been dying, he's kind of just taking his hands off the keyboard, putting his hands on his head. His body language is kind of broken right here. This is the kill we missed, where once again Doublelift was trying to make a play. There was no play to be made right there.
That rotation is ridiculous. Because usually Doublelift would have that for himself, but Dignitas is right on the money with all their moves right now, and really in the right place at the right time. Not an understatement.
4th dragon in the game as well. because CLG is so trapped in their base. This has been a disappointing CLG tale for Super Week because their first game of the week against Coast, who they had lost 3 times to this season, may have been the best game they have played all season. But then as Super Week progressed, their performance has continuously deteriorated. They had that close game against Dignitas, which they lost, which is what put them into this tiebreaker game.
Yep.
And then this tiebreaker game has probably been their worst game of the week. So I wonder if this has to do with deteriorated preparation and how they were able to prep very strongly for the very first game, but as the week went on, they kind of lost their plan and they just defaulted back into kind of solo queue chaos mentalities.
Right.
Which, you know, I guess there's 2 ways you can look at it. That could bode well for them in playoffs because they're going to have a large amount of time to prep for one team in a best of 3, which if they lose, this is going to be TSM. Or you could look at it in the negative way and say, actually, CLG is just playing badly going into playoffs.
Right. It's kind of goes back to the unpredictable. You think of a lot of teams this weekend and what they've played. We saw Pantheon just coming out. Other teams have played a few off champions here and there. We saw Victors coming out from Velocity. Yeah. And really, that unpredictability has allowed Dignitas to get wins we haven't seen before, things they haven't tried. And it seems like everybody's having having more fun. But if you're not trying these things, you're going wheelhouse strats, it seems like you're falling behind this week.
Yeah, this top lane Zach has really worked out for Kiwi Kid. Additionally, Skara just playing as roam as you can get so he can rotate for most of the game seems to be Dignitas' thing that's working out for them right now.
Everybody's trying new things Super Week. We just saw Saint on a Mumu twice in a row.
And it worked.
It did work. That was pretty sweet. 30 minutes into this one, the Dig versus CLG. The fight for the spot here between these two teams in the playoff. They both get it. It's just where they sit in the playoffs.
6th place seed plays TSM in the first round. Winner of this game will play Curse in the 4-5 game.
And talking to the teams earlier, it was a little bit of some of the teams saying, you know what, we actually feel like we're better in a best of 3 because of the way it works. Yeah. And as the playoffs go into that, Team Solo Mid was the regional champs last year, so they're definitely going to be something to reckon with coming out of this.
Yeah, well, listen, every team would like to think, oh, if we just had more time to prepare, we're going to be better.
That's so true.
Because it is true. Everyone gets better as they're preparing. As Dignitas is just taking this uncontested Baron because they have so much control. To continue. But you always have to keep in mind, now the other team has more time to prepare for you. And it really pushes the limits of how well you can adapt strategically and have varying strategies. And one of the most almost predictable teams in the LCS is CLG, which is going to make it very interesting as we go into regional playoffs and they face off against TSM, assuming they lose this game since they're 12,000 goal behind and lost a Baron buff.
Right.
Since with Monte Cristo's analysis and coaching skills, that may give them a mental edge there because TSM does not have an analyst. They rely directly on themselves. And as Chouster has said, you know, having a coach to kind of settle disputes instead of having a player can be a big advantage. I know I'm already, even though you can't say like, oh man, CLG 6 seed, I'm really excited to see the TSM versus CLG classic matchup in the regional playoffs if that happens, just because it's so much on the line and there's just so much history there.
It's like not a yearly fight, but it goes back
like
so many years. It's like that
yeah.
high school rivalry for homecoming when the game happens. Everybody's there, even if you didn't go to that school. That's the TSM CLG matchup. 32 minutes in. It's only 2 minutes since we said the time last. It's creeping along, but so is Dignitas for having such a lead. We asked teams in interviews why they do this. And they're like, I think we know we're up, but we just don't want to do that bad part of the game.
And they're running the cycle of things they have to accomplish. They got the Baron, everyone shopped, they're making sure all 3 waves are pushing at the same time, and they're preparing to find their dive opportunity. Cutie-Pie is going to be throwing in tons of Mystic shots. If he lands a couple, it's going to cue the initiation, and they're going to be able to go in and burst the lowest target. If Dignitas gets a clean shot at Doublelift, Link, or Nyen, I think they're flying in.
The two level 18s in the game are Kiwi Kid and Skara. Nobody on CLG is level 18 just yet, and the fight is initiated. It could be the final one. 33 minutes in, Dignitas goes hard, head first into the base. The hemo play goes down on every member.
That was a great hemo play.
Connect, he will be able to do a lot of damage, but he gets exploded. Yep. They come in with a double kill. Skara's death mark. Kiwi Kid's let's bounce. Crumbs with the ultimate, and Cutie Pie to start it off with a true shot barrage.
Even though Link landed a fantastic hemo play, everyone else was dead, so the damage amp didn't matter. Great close and performance by Dignitas. They are flying into the playoffs.
There we go. GG for Dig. They're able to come out very big on that matchup and show us a little bit of freshness within those last few games.